Okay, so Kilmarnock have furloughed players and non-playing staff. Now, while furloughing non-playing staff wouldn't surprise many, considering that Kilmarnock's position financially being a lot, less than Celtic or Rangers or English Premier League or Championship clubs. They are on a smaller budget. They make smaller revenue streams. Furloughing players. Yeah, that's a big move when it comes to British football. Now, the PFA, both in Scotland and England, are still at loggerheads with the clubs over wage cuts, wage deferrals, and those talks are still ongoing. There is no resolution in sight. And what we do know is the lockdown measures in Wales have been extended by another week. So, at the moment, we just have no idea when football is going to resume. We do know is when it does resume, it's going to be behind closed doors, which means clubs like Kilmarnock, which are heavily reliant on ticket revenue, to supplement their income, on top of TV deals and sponsorship deals. They're heavily reliant on gate receipts for their finances. They're going to struggle in in the post-lockdown restarted season when it does restart. And what we do know is if the Premier League are going to possibly lose, if they cannot restart the season, over £750 million, just imagine the damage to Scottish football, which has precarious financial situation at the best of times. More clubs are going to have to do this of a smaller to medium size. The fact that Liverpool reneged on their decision to furlough staff 2 days after they put them on furlough, I did say other clubs will be looking at that situation and considering their options whether to do this. Now, we know that Southampton are trying to consider all options to avoid furloughing non-playing staff, but now that a professional club in a top flight league has furloughed players, the situation is getting more and more serious as each day passes. And the longer the standoff between the PFA and the clubs in both Scotland and England continues, the worse this will become. Kilmarnock will not be an isolated case of players being put on administrative leave, pretty much. Now, not all non-playing staff have been furloughed. We know that the manager, Alex Dyer, and the football operations manager, James Fowler, are still amongst a small number of employees working at Kilmarnock. And we know that the Killie Trust has pumped £50,000, which is a fan group, which also aids the club financially, into the club. This move has been done to sustain the club long term and to ensure that the club is still there when football resumes. If they didn't take this move, because Kilmarnock are not a wealthy club, they would probably go out of business, which will have a knock-on effect for the Scottish League as well. So watch this space. I think more small to medium clubs in the professional structure in England and Scotland will do a Kilmarnock and furlough players as well. And the longer the PFA, as a national organisation, and the PFA in Scotland in this case, are at loggerheads with the clubs and the league, the worse the situation becomes. There are no winners in this situation, and football as a sport is taking a massive PR hit. Other sports have been far more proactive in their players and owners and backroom staff and those on the highways at teams taking pay cuts, getting involved in the communities that they represent, and supporting the non-playing staff and other charities at this global panic in this global pandemic. European football has taken a massive PR hit, with a few notable exceptions of a few clubs and the Bundesliga structure. European football has been hammered in a public relations sense, and with now the club furloughing players, the PFA and the clubs and leagues have to come to the table soon, because the Championship clubs, all 24 of them, are considering a group administration, which means all of them will declare themselves bust and liquidate, which will create chaos, absolute chaos. So we'll have to see what happens, but any further news on Kilmarnock and other clubs will probably follow. This can't continue. It's a black stain on football, which has got enough black stains on its record over the last 20 years to do with corruption and match fixing allegations and cheating allegations and all these other problems like hooliganism and poor stadiums and giving the World Cup to Qatar. This is what football doesn't need. But there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts below, and I will have some more videos for you very soon.